You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I love Skyward Sword. I honestly think that it is one of the best Zelda games to ever exist. There, I said it. Some of you may be outraged at me saying this and want to do to me what Link does to pottery, but hear me out. I want to turn people's negative thoughts about Skyward Sword around and show you the things about this game that make it so great in my eyes. I'm Mr. Z, and this is Zelda Discussions. Let's get into it. First off, I want to address the snurgle in the room when it comes to Skyward Sword. It's linearity. I realize that Skyward Sword is more linear than most other Zelda games, but personally, I think it's one of this game's strong suits. Linearity is crucial to telling a good story, and Skyward Sword's story benefits from this ultra-linearity. Tell me, if we could do the first 3 dungeons in the order that we wanted, and weren't forced to go to Faron to meet Girahim the first time, and then to Eldin to meet Impa, would the cutscene at the end of the Lanayru mining facility have any impact on the player aside from pure confusion? No, it wouldn't. Linearity is what makes for a good story, and Skyward Sword uses that to its advantage. Introducing Girahim in the first dungeon, setting him as the antagonist, is brilliant. Every following dungeon lets in on more and more of his character, and each time you see him, he gets more and more unhinged. It shows character development in real time that you can see as it develops instead of having the ability to see the end before the beginning. And if the game wasn't linear, then the point where Zelda is revealed to be the goddess Hylia would have no emotional impact at all. Seeing Link's face shift from the stoic and determined expression to him sobbing at the sight of Zelda leave him is powerful. The player is shown the relationship Link and Zelda share throughout the introduction. We get attached to her, only for her to be taken from us, which sets the game into motion. We then have to chase after her, only for her to be just out of reach time and time again. And when we finally get to see her, she relays that she is the goddess herself and that she used Link, knowing full well that Zelda's danger would drive Link to do anything. And finally, she envelops herself in a chrysalis to imprison the Demon King, thus taking herself away from Link again. This scene is impactful due to the fact that we are railroaded from one place to another, because those places we have to go to all introduce more story and build up an emotional scene whose power comes from those previously established story scenarios. I also want to address the motion controls. I get the frustration people have about having to swing the Wiimote to do literally anything at all, and I am one of those people. I played the Wii version of the game when I was 8, and it completely ruined motion control to anything for me. So when they announced that Skyward Sword was coming to Switch, I was honestly mad, because I didn't want to have to use the motion controls again. But then, Hylia herself bestowed upon us the ability to use button controls, and they are great. You don't have to worry about the motion not responding because it's a manual input to swing your sword, and it makes the game more accessible, allowing for you to play in handheld as well. Personally, if you are one who hated the original, then get the Switch version, as I feel it actually makes the game more fun. But even so, I recently bought the Wii version of the game, and the motion controls make the game a challenge. It may have just been me being a dumb second grader at the time I first played it, but the Wii controls are very responsive, and the inability to swing the sword as fast as you can flick the right stick makes the game a really fun challenge. But no matter your playstyle, the combat of this game benefits strongly from this game's swordplay. You can swing your sword in all 8 directions, and you have to make use of that constantly. Even the weakest enemies are a puzzle to solve using your sword slashes. Choo-choos need to be sliced vertically, as a horizontal slice will result in the monster reassembling. Bokoblins hold their sword in a way that blocks attacks from that side, forcing you to attack them from other directions. The game uses the motion and button controls flawlessly in combat, and that is something I cannot praise this game enough for. This game also has some of the coolest dungeons and bosses in the series as well. Girahim and Coloctus, the Sandship and Skykeep, all are phenomenal and use creative ideas in each. Girahim takes the normal enemy encounters and makes a boss battle out of it. You have to block his attacks with your shield and trick him by attacking from an angle he isn't expecting. Coloctus has you use the dungeon item, the whip, to rip his limbs off, allowing for you to attack him directly, only for him to start attacking with swords that you have to whack him with. And that is just 2 of the bosses. The Sandship uses the time shift mechanic to turn the ship from the present to the past through the use of the bow, and many parts of it have you shooting an arrow through a ventilation grate to hit the stone on the outside. And Skykeep uses the central mechanic of arranging the whole dungeon's layout to get to where you need to. All of these are just a few examples of this game's unique concepts in bosses and dungeons. They all use creative ideas and execute them perfectly. While on the topic of dungeons and bosses, another thing I want to address is the Imprisoned. This boss sucks. He is so annoying, and you fight him 3 times, which is 3 times too many. That's all stuff I would say if it were actually true. If you're a Zelda fan but haven't played the game, you've likely heard people complain about the Imprisoned. But I assure you, he is not that bad. The boss fight has you chase him down, avoiding the shockwaves that his foot stomps make, to slice his squishy, oddly milk-filled toes, which make him lose his balance, allowing for you to attack the spike on his head. As if he makes it to the top of the sealed grounds, it's game over. Honestly, this is a pretty cool concept. You have to evade his attacks while you yourself are trying to attack. And then each consecutive fight evolves and builds on this concept. The second fight gives him arms, allowing him to climb, so you have to slice his squishy fingers. Okay, seriously, why are all of his digits filled with milk? Preventing him from climbing. It also adds Groose, and I will talk about Groose, and his bomb catapult to the mix, allowing you to slow the monster down if you can't catch up. And the third is much of the same from the first 2, except it has you launch yourself onto the monster as he tries to fly to the sealed temple. All of these fights against the Imprisoned are actually really fun, and act as a boss to fight in between story scenarios, which is something I don't feel Zelda does enough of personally. But if you still aren't convinced that he's fun and not that bad, then you can avoid the toe chopping and just jump on his head and attack the spike from there. Stop being a bunch of babies and just admit that he's kinda fun. Another thing I want to talk about is this game's soundtrack. It is gorgeous. It captures the atmosphere of every situation and location perfectly. Zelda's Lullaby from this game is my favorite arrangement of the song, and possibly my favorite song in the entire game. The swells of the orchestra and the beautiful flute carrying the tune. It's phenomenal, and if you haven't heard it, then you need to go look it up right now. The rest of the music in the game is great too. There's fun, sad, atmospheric, and tense music throughout the entire game. And I think this game is one of the best in the music department. Its soundtrack has helped me in my life, whether it be me having a bad day or studying for a big test. It truly is a brilliant soundtrack, and I love the amount of care they put into the making of Skyward Sword's music. Okay, Groose is way too good of a character. He goes through insane character development, and it's awesome. At first, he hates Link and thinks of him as less than. he's also jealous of Link's relationship with Zelda, as he has a crush on her. But as the story progresses, he tails Link as Link descends to the surface, where he learns that Link is the one to save Zelda and not Groose. He has a hard time coming to terms with this and runs off feeling bad about himself. But then the next time you come to the Faron region, you see he has used his skills to build the bomb catapult, and he actually is compassionate to Link too. He cares about other people than himself now, and he goes through character development that you can see with each time you visit him. And we wouldn't be able to see that unless the story showed it to us directly. And I think we need more characters like Groose. Finally, Fi is not annoying. Sure, she can come out of the sword to tell you something that you may or may not already know, but most of the stuff she tells you about is actually helpful to you. And I feel complaining about her is more of a nitpick rather than an objective criticism of the game as a whole. I actually think she is a good companion character. She introduces the concepts of the game, she actually tells you what the enemies are called, which very few companions actually do. And when she leaves Link at the end of the game, trying to understand human emotion is also a very emotional scene, even if it does feel a tad bit rushed. I have such a hard time finding any flaws with Skyward Sword, and it makes me sad how much people will dump on it. But I hope this video helped you gain an appreciation of the game, or further established its place among the best. Either way, let's talk in the comments. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe for more things Zelda. Special thank you to the Luigi Matter for subscribing. Thank you so much. Feel free to check out his channel, which is linked in the description. He's got some really good videos over there, so please give him some love. If any of you guys want a shout out for subscribing in a future video, then please just let me know in the comments. You guys are all appreciated and loved. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.